Planning and Management to order. We will take up the following items for approval. Action item. Action item 1A is the approval of the minutes of the March 24th, 2025 meeting. I move the approval of action item 1A. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Any abstention? Motion carries unanimously. With no more items on the policy calendar, we move to information items. There's one information item on the agenda. I now call on Vice Chancellor Mohammed Atai to provide further background on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Since we did not have policy items for approval, we felt that it would be a good opportunity to share with you some of the highlights and the overall picture of our capital program at CUNY that the team is working on. Usually we come here and we have items for approval and we go through the agenda and the items. So today we'll talk in general about our program, what we have and what's working, with some examples from the different campuses at CUNY system-wide. Quick agenda. We will start by speaking about our overall program in terms of our categories and where the fund is distributed. Then we will walk you through some very unique and very good examples of some projects that we are undertaking at some of our campuses, including obviously the College of Staten Island should be first.
I appreciate that.
And then Bronx Community College, City Tech, Brooklyn, Baruch City College, Lehman, Medgar Evers, John Jay, York College, and Queens. So we make sure that we bring examples from all across the 5 boroughs. And then we'll talk about some of the efforts that our team has worked on to accelerate our delivery and ensure that we're expediting bringing projects to completion. Also, as per the university direction, to work on balancing our work between what DASNY deliver and what CUNY deliver. Some unique initiatives that we have undertaken in the last 3 years, we call it the project closeout accomplishment. We'll share that with you and what we've done with this, and then we will conclude at the very end with some of the highlights of the project, larger projects that we're seeking special funding for, which usually we see that on the gold sheet, but we'll talk about it here. So moving on, this is our overall program. We have about $4.8 billion in capital program that our team is working on delivering. And what you see on the screen here is a distribution between senior colleges and community colleges. In terms of every college, you will see some projects that we label it as various senior colleges or various community colleges, and this has to do with technology, with some equipment programs that are being delivered system-wide, some energy conservation plans, and that's what we categorize as system-wide. Other than that, it's basically every college. You will see the large number that stands out here is at Hunter. We might ask and say why Hunter had the big amount, but what included here is a Sparks project. The state provided us, as we all know here, $475 million towards that project, and this is because the project is Hunter, so it's there. And this is why this is a large number. We can look at that same number, the 4.8 billion, in another lens, where we look at per category, as you see on the screen here. So in total, it's about 885 projects, generally speaking, in different stages. Some of them in the very, very initial stage. Some of them have moved into budgeting, pre-scoping, pre-design, design. These are the different stages of the project that we call it. or pre-construction, construction, and then we have the punch list and close out. And some of the projects historically are in close out, and they are part of that. And we are working diligently to close the projects and moving them to the archive. And one of the very last slides will talk about that effort, because this is alone is a very interesting exercise just to bring the project into close out and move them out. And historically, there was a very large number of projects in this phase. So you see here in total, and we have total allocated funding, and you see a big number here, $9.2 billion, but what's spent already is about $4.5 billion on those projects, and we have the 4.8 that we're working with, divided into these types of categories. You will see here ADA, for example, elevator, emergency, building envelope equipment, HVAC, and so on. These are the different categories that we try to distribute the fund with the objective to achieve the state of good repair. So all of these types of projects help bringing our building systems into a state of good repair. And all the projects, as we said, like moving to a state of good repair, and also making sure that in all of this fund and this allocated work is our standard CUNY, MWBE, and SDUB of 30% of MWBE. This is included in all of our contracts, whether project delivered by CUNY or delivered by DASNY. So we really work diligently on that. So moving to examples, as I said, so College of Staten Island, we brought 4 examples from 4 different projects there. First one is a field reconstruction. It's really, as we all know in higher education, athletic facilities are very important to our students, to our community. Research have proven that the grounds and the athletic facility contribute significantly to attraction of students and retention of students to our institution, and also contribute to actually the national ranking of where we rank. So it's very important to look at this renovation of that 300,000 square feet athletic field. Will include baseball, soccer ball, softball, and also will upgrade the stormwater management and drainage system to reduce the operating and maintenance cost of that field. As we know, operating is an issue, so make sure that when we do our capital upgrade, we ensure that we bring the most efficient system. And the overall budget for that project is $9 million in design and construction, and construction is active right now and expected to be completed in July 2027. Building 2M renovation, that's another interesting project in the Building 2M in the first floor. It's a new research collaboration facility, so it provides an opportunity for multidisciplinary research and research collaboration with the industry as well. It's a large capacity conference space with video and big data displays, and also it includes small group work. So that helps bringing people from different disciplines to work together in a particular research project, or even bring people from outside the university to collaborate. It's about $12 million and completion expected August this year. And this work and this innovation also will bring that space of 11,000 square feet to a state of good repair. Other 2 projects at Staten Island is media screen. It's a media space in room 1P construction. It's kind of a smaller project. It's about $1.5 million and expected to be completed really next month. And it provides technology, media equipment, sound system, assistive listening, and a smart podium that helps in this regard. The new maker space is a wonderful piece, again, that's really provides students with the hands-on access. All higher education institutions now, they make sure to incorporate maker spaces, and providing a 3D printing area, some heavy machinery area. It's basically a CNC machine, so it helps the design of some projects, and students will be able to actually work to produce actual prototype and bring some design model into a real life size of equipment. So it's about $22.5 million, and it should also be completed soon. Moving from the very south at Staten Island to the very north at Bronx Community College, we have the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame, all of us know really about the Hall of Fame at Bronx Community College. It's a piece of our history, and it has 96 bronze statues of prominent citizens in American history. The roof has deteriorated. There have been some roof renovation for the Memorial Hall. Now the Hall of Fame, which is in the back of the Memorial Hall, we need to fix the roof there. It's an investment of about $8 million and will bring the roof to a state of good repair and preserve this piece. Philosophy Hall roof as well at Bronx Community College. It's very old. It's the building was built in 1912, and it's a piece of landmark really, and it's registered as a national landmark. So the project intend to replace the roof, install new vapor barrier, restore all of decorative cover fascia. Cost about $6.5 million. Design completion in January 2026, actually not 2025, and construction will start in the spring and be completed by summer 2027. Other two projects at Bronx Community College. The boiler replacement is a very big one. In 3 years ago, I think we have seen in the paper issues about heating at the Bronx Community College, and in 3 years in a row there were issues about starting the boiler in the winter, and we had to invest a lot of effort to get it done. So the project was planned for $45 million to replace the 3 major boilers with 3 very efficient boilers to be replaced there. What you see there is very recent picture when we're craning this number. We had actually a video, but we didn't manage to insert it in the presentation of the process of bringing those 3 monster boilers inside the boiler room. It was an operation in its own really. It would be very interesting to see how was that managed. But now the 3 new boilers are in place on the concrete pads. As you see here, those concrete pads were installed, and now the 3 boilers are sitting on them with efforts to connect them, hook them up, and also providing 4 underground full oil storage tanks, and that's only as for a backup, just in case that we have natural gas interruption. We have to keep it going, so the boiler can run on gas and can run on oil. But the strategy, obviously, because of decarbonization and these issues and sustainability, they run on gas. This project will bring, obviously, the boilers, entire boilers, to a state of good repair, and
efficiencies
will bring a huge efficiency in the operation and take CUNY further towards its decarbonization strategies, decarbonization goals as we move forward. As we know that we have the local law 97 for the city, and we have the executive order 22 for the state. We, as you know, I think we are the only institution that has to comply with both, and we are working on that to make sure that CUNY will comply with both. Bronx Express, that's a project. It's actually a piece of work that we are undertaking in a couple of our campuses, which providing the students with one-stop shop to bring most, if not all, of the student-facing activities into one place. And that project at Bronx Community College, we call it Bronx Express, and it will involve the renovation of 24,000 square feet of space, and it will enhance the ADA accessibility as well. which one of our objectives, system-wide, and it cost about $28 million. Substantial completion is planned for April 2026, and to be ready for use for the students for the fall semester in 2026. Those were 4 examples from Bronx Community College, and as we used to go from the south to the north, now we go back to the south again, just to keep the energy going in the room. So going to Brooklyn at City Tech, we have the NAM building, Atrium Plaza upgrade. This is a wonderful place for our students to gather. However, the atrium has a roof membrane because it has a space below, and that roof membrane is leaking. The whole atrium is really very old, and it needs an upgrade for the landscape, and it needs a lot of upgrades there. So the project will include that, replacing the roof membrane, the underlying drainage system, the pavers, metal entrance canopy, lighting, landscape, and seating. Again, it will be very attractive space for the students, and as I mentioned earlier, when we're talking about the College of Staten Island, athletic fields, outdoor spaces, landscape is a very strong piece of us as a community and in higher education to attract students. $6.5 million and expected completion by April of next year. Also at City Tech, we have the NAM building data center emergency backup power. It's a small project, it's only about $2 million, but currently our data center at the college doesn't have a backup power, so we must provide that. So that's an emergency unique project that we needed to do it fast. And both projects will bring all of those components into a state of good repair and take us closer to our objective of bringing the university to a state of good repair. We're still in Brooklyn, but moving from City Tech to Brooklyn College. We're bringing 2 examples from Brooklyn College here, looking at the quad. Under the quad in Brooklyn College, we have a lot of utility tunnels that connect between the power plant across to the building. Those utility tunnels are very old, original, and they were built in 1937. So they are leaking, and there are a lot of issues in the utilities of those tunnels. Not only the tunnels are leaking, the roof membrane, there is some deterioration on those tunnels, plus it affects the supply of the utilities as well. So some of the pipes, the strainers, the steam lines, corroded and need a lot of work. So this $23 million project is planned to fix all of that. It has been on the master plan or in the plan for the college for many years. So we got into it and finalized and expedited the design, and it expected completion by December 2027. It's a huge undertaking, and it needs to be done in phases because of the interruption of the quad, and it's a very vital piece at the very heart of the college. So this is a description of phase 1, and then there are a couple of further phases. The second example we brought at Brooklyn College here, that's very interesting project at the multi-building HVAC replacement, and this is phase 1 for Roosevelt and Ingersoll. And this project, if I give you a little bit of an interesting background, it was originally the plan was to replace Roosevelt, which an amount of $100 million was allocated there, and the project needed another $600 million to proceed, and that has been there for years. And we have some funds like that for different projects. So speaking with the president and with the academic plan there, it was determined that it will be more efficient and to expedite the project is to convert the project to a deep retrofit and upgrade of the science facilities rather than to wait for that amount, which usually it might take lots of, or many years to really get 600 million and to be able to replace the building, and always inflation is faster than us bringing the money in. So that took some work because we needed to work actually with the elected officials in Albany in order to repurpose the fund, and we successfully have done that. And now we proceeded with the phase one, which is the HVAC upgrade of this building, and then it has many other phases, but because it touches our science labs in this work, it needs a very careful planning, working with the academic leaders and with the programs in order to ensure that our accreditation is maintained and we're able to deliver teaching and learning, and as we say that we fix the engine as we fly the plane in the air.
That's scary.
Did you try that?
Build the plane as you're flying it. Yeah.
So moving to Baruch College, as we spoke about Bronx Community College when we spoke about Bronx Express, and I did mention that in many of our universities we're looking at improving the relationship with the students, and they have one-stop shop. So at Bronx we call it Bronx Express. At Baruch it's more open. We call it one-stop shop. So one-stop space. So it's for the same purpose, and it's basically it is a Newman vertical campus building, and it will have the work will involve administrative workstations and offices, student computer workstations, cafe seating, soft seating. The cost is about $8 million and expected to complete in November 2026. Also at Baruch is the 63 Madison leased build out. That's a partnership that was developed. Baruch has always needed an additional space to fit their current program, and we have been working to try to find them about 60,000 square feet, and that has been in the works. When Sparks came and we needed to also move and decant part of Brookdale to somewhere, so that was a great opportunity that saved us some fund to bring both into 63 Madison and lease 120,000 square feet. So this work is happening right now. It's a very comprehensive piece of work, very challenging in terms of time frame, very high on the priority list because it's impacting a lot of things, Baruch and Brookdale, and impacting the overall Sparks project. So there is a lot of emphasis on it, and to get it done on time. And it would include renovation and bringing basically from Brookdale the nursing school and some programs in addition to the Baruch needed spaces. Moving to our flagship, City College of New York, brought two examples here. The administration building hardscape. The administration building there is accessible by many of the campus colleagues, professors, administrators, students, staff, and again the landscape, similar to City Tech, the landscape around that building is deteriorated and constituting a safety hazard. So there will be an upgrade there. Also, it is not ADA compliant, so we are upgrading as part of our overall strategy that we're going around the campuses to have an ADA value when we present, when we make our work. So this project is $5 million project, planned to be completed in April 26, and will remedy all the pedestrian hazards that we have there right now, plus it will make the place ADA compliant. Aaron Davis Hall, this is a much bigger project. As you know, the Aaron Davis Hall is the largest performing arts center in Manhattan, and we are working there to upgrade the infrastructure, mechanical, electrical systems, also enhancement to the exterior of the building, and renovation of the general interiors, and to the theater and the black box program there. And also adding an elevator to make the building ADA compliant. The project estimated budget about $54 million, and design is about to be completed, and it's scheduled for completion by November 2029. Moving to the north to Lehman College. We brought here a few examples from Lehman College, about 4 examples. We're looking at the old gym building windows. It's original, 1934, very old. The existing windows are steel, non-thermal, as all of our old windows, and it has about 393 small windows. So we are replacing that with state-of-the-art new thermal aluminum windows with an investment of about $11 million, and that will bring the windows to a state of good repair, and will also have an energy conservation, energy efficiency value to the project. This mechanical upgrade, the equipment there is original, about 1970. We are making mechanical upgrades there to the hot water, chilled water distribution, new ductwork distribution throughout the building, and also upgrading our control system to provide energy saving and energy efficient control system there. And it's expected to cost about $28 million. And as I said, it has both will bring this equipment to a state of good repair, and also will bring us closer to our targets of energy efficiency. At Lehman College as well, we have the chimney. This project is actually completed. The chimney there is very unique. It's, as you see, it's a piece of art, really. When you see it, you don't think it's a chimney. But the steel inside was corroded, was in a very bad condition, and it was very important for the boiler that's in the basement. So we have replaced the chimney, and we upgraded its encasement to be in a safer condition, because the block is falling somehow. Total project about $6.7 million. The Department of Social Work renovation, it's a 10,000 square feet, investing about $8 million there at Carmen Hall. Its spaces were insufficient, so we're renovating this 10,000 square feet, creating 34 offices to bring those also to a state of good repair. Moving down to Brooklyn at Medgar Evers, brought 2 quick projects. The auditorium rehab and expansion. We're creating a mezzanine there and increasing the capacity to 700 seats, and upgrading its finishing, doing replacement for its inefficient HVAC, lighting, sound, AV systems. So it will be a great space serving this part of the city, and bringing it to a state of good repair. We're also bringing, they lack a storage space, so this is a new idea that we're implementing here, is bringing this pre-engineered, freestanding storage facility. It costs about $5 million and it will be very fast, really, to provide them with storage capacity. John Jay, for criminal justice, we have two projects there. The skylight renovation. Many of our conferences are actually, the CUNY conferences are held there in John Jay. So this project will improve circulation and wayfinding. We're looking at the lobby, but the important piece here is upgrading the skylight and the second floor curtain wall corridor. It leaks right now, and it's very energy inefficient, and the water leak is causing other damage to other building components. So we wanted to replace the roof with new roofing, new air curtain, new doors, and new skylight at a cost of about $23 million. And then the last one, that's an infrastructure piece. It's a health and safety component for ventilating the building. So we are updating it with new rooftop fans, dampers, motors, actuators, and controls. So bringing this equipment to a state of good repair and making the building safer. Your college moving to Queens. The tennis court, this is the phase 3, similar to the project that we spoke about, the very first project at College of Staten Island. It's an extensive rehabilitation there for this work, renovating the 2 existing tennis court and investing about $10 million. Also there, we're renovating the child care center. That's a very, the very important building there. Originally, it was a classroom building. So originally constructed as a temporary structure, the child care center classroom building is now 45 plus year old. So we have a complete roof tear down there, facade work, waterproofing. So a lot of state of good repair work there for $11 million. We're still in Queen in the east, moving to the library reconstruction. Originally was built in 1956, and major renovation and upgrade needed there. The HVAC system, the fire alarm, some structural adjustments, and office spaces for 60 staff. It cost about $12 million, but a significant upgrade for its infrastructure. The Jefferson Hall one-stop hub will be transformed into centralized space for students, a multi-phased project, and it involves the demolition and renovation of the lower part, relocation of existing air handler units, and reconstruction of several areas. It's about $20 million investment. And this is the last project, I should say. Also in this project here, we are bringing services that was actually in external leased space, and we are getting rid of that leased space, and people that are housed in the leased space will move into the campus. So that space was not really utilized to its fullest potential. And this is something like within the Chancellor and Hector plan for basically the consolidation of spaces all across the university. So those were the examples that we shared with you. I hope that you found it interesting to look at those examples of projects. And before I conclude here, after those examples, to share with you again some of our programs. So I started by showing the overall picture and then examples of project. Here we're looking at this year allocation and how we intend to distribute the fund. So we get about like 300 and change, or let's say 400 million. 147 of those are being reduced to new projects, and we provided information here about our approach to try to balance between the projects that are currently managed by CUNY versus projects managed by DASNY. So you see here DASNY out of those getting 29 projects at 76 million, and CUNY 23 projects, 70 million. And this is our approach to go up to 40 or 50% of the program. In terms of scoping, scoping is a very important piece that we added to our process, and I'll talk about it again in our next slide. Is we found that out of our 800 projects we're talking about, there is about half or more than half of them in the pre-design or design stage, and it takes very significant amount of time to design. So we brought the scoping piece, and our in-house engineers and consultant are involved to perform a scoping for a project within 3 weeks. Like this is our our standard really we're trying to push is within 3 weeks rather than 6-7 months. We have a scope of project, and then we move into design. So within this project, 29 projects will be scoped by CUNY, and 21 projects will be scoped by DASNY appointed consultants. Additional allocation out of the money that we received this year, 147 million to new project, 236 million we need to complement projects that we already had, were in the design stage and completed design and need to move to construction. But historically, funding was allocated for design in order to push the design, but not the full amount for construction. So this year, we're going to use that fund to bring many of those projects, about 23 plus 12, about 45 projects, to move into construction using this fund. Accelerating capital delivery, as I mentioned only like a minute ago, about the scoping piece. So a streamlined scoping process, shorter focused review to advance the design, and replacing portfolio, increasing number of capital projects under direct CUNY management. So pushing the piece of the pre-design and the design is a very crucial aspect of what we do here. So we're looking at, as I said, 3 weeks to complete scoping and 2 weeks to review design. So after we scope, consultant design, at the 30 or 50% design completion, they will bring it to us and to the campus community to look at, to see if we're moving in the right direction. And we'll take 2 weeks to look at it and provide the consultant with feedback. Historically, that was like it takes months between back and forth. So we're trying to bring some discipline into this process to expedite the project delivery. And you will see some numbers here. I believe we're making very good progress here. So look at that, the scoping process, looking at the Q2, Q3, and Q4. You will see that about 22 projects were actually scoped for a total value of about $162 million. Q3, we had even more, about 27 projects, totaling about $276 million were scoped. And then Q4, this is a partial of Q4, not the entire Q4, 45 million, and there were about 15 projects. So you see in total, there's about like close to 70 projects very quickly moved through the process. And as you see here, as I said, goal is to achieve 3 weeks turnaround for scoping. And this is the data. This is really historical move to see those kind of numbers and see this volume of projects being moved into the design process. We've never had that before. So thank you. Okay, so here the review. The previous slide was talking about the scoping piece, to scope a project. When the project is completed design 30-50%, we bring it, as I said, to our team, engineers to review, the campus facility to review, and also the users, the professors, the department chairs. So 69 projects were reviewed. The maiden time about 12 days. The average review time is 15 days, which is, again, very really great, and we're still, the team is trying to push it even further than that. This is rebalancing the portfolio. Some numbers here just to share with you. Overall, if you look at, if you remember the number 800 and something projects, currently 600 projects managed by DASNY, and these are the numbers in the different stages. DASNY-wise, 328 projects are in pre-design or design, like almost half. Reconstruction and construction 161, bunch list and close out 118, which is very significant amount of projects. CUNY managed, we have 278 projects we're managing right now, which a significant increase in the number that our team manage ourselves. And we have 175 in pre-design, 44 in pre-construction or construction, 59 in bunch list and close out. And I'd like to again share with you very interesting some information about the bunch list and the project close out. And you see a very large number, and usually those projects at the end will have some dollar value remaining there. And those dollar value was significant in some areas are not being reinvested. So that was a different initiative that we worked with our people, developed process in order to bring projects into closeout and completion. So if you look at that, you see in 2023, we brought 182 projects financially closed, complete, like brought them from the closeout process to close and archive them. 182 projects, where we were able to free up $86 million. As long as the project is not financially closed, remaining value stay there. So, and there was a reluctance always, you know, campus users, okay, well, I want to look at that, look at this. So we finish, we bring the money, then we work with the Department of Budget. There is a process we have to go through from an administrative point of view with the state to reallocate the fund. So we go through this process very quickly to create the 1184 to repurpose the fund, 86 million. In 2024, 114 projects for 56 million, and 91 projects in 2025. That's to date. So if you look at it, you see almost like 180, $190 million projects where we were able to free up and repurpose and reinvest in other projects. And still, this is part of the process that our team is working on. And this is the last slide I wanted to leave with you. This is usually what we see on what we call the golden sheet. With our priorities, it's a large number projects of a large number of investments. It needs its own funding, really, like the amount of money that we get from the state and the city doesn't give us the opportunity to proceed with, you know, with any of that. So we always include them, and we try to advocate with our elected official for those. And on the list, you know, the priorities in there, we have the Costas Community Health and Science Building that has been on the list, and this one needs matched between 300 million, 150 from the state, 150 from the city, and we always try to look at different approaches, how to try to get that fund, working with our city colleagues to try to get that moving. York College, the academic village, has been there as number priority at York College, 300 million estimated. Brooklyn College, the Ingersoll Hall Roosevelt, this is the one that I spoke about earlier, that we were able to repurpose the $100 million we have. So we need another 100 to finish and get a product instead of the 800 million replacement. For 200 million, we can get the same thing. And the Baruch College 17 lakhs upgrades, and you know, this is one of the reasons that we have the 63 medicine and so on. And that's my last slide, and that's my last slide, and thank you very much. I hope you.
Yeah, I just have one question, because I know there's litigation. What do you foresee as the future of government?
Of government?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think right now we're obviously just looking to see where that sort of ends up in order for us to determine sort of what the next steps are. Right now, the college has you know, they're fine, they're in a lease, and you know, but eventually, you know, there will be decisions that we have to make as a university. But right now, we're, you know, we are in have multiple years left in that lease. So right now, we're sort of holding off on that until the issues sort of get resolved.
Right, okay, just curious.
I mean, look, I wanted the board to get a sense of, you know, you approve a lot of projects. You allocate a lot of resources to the university. This is a new thing. The chancellor has asked us to sort of give you a sense of, and these meetings are conducive for these kind of, we did it for technology recently, that, you know, we just try to handpick projects across multiple boroughs so you could see the flavor and the challenges. But you also wanted you to get a flavor for, we are doing things to expedite our process. I mean, when I got here, and I saw it took 7 months, 8 months to do design, and now we're down to weeks, you know, to do scoping and all that, right? We cut a lot of that stuff down, and people that are in the construction business could appreciate that. I said, if we weren't, you know, you'd be out of business if we were in the private sector, taking that long. But we really began to really hone in on what the problems were, Then Mohammed has also done a lot of work to rebuild his team for us to begin to control some of our own destiny. Ultimately, we're trying to hold our colleagues at DASNY more accountable, to making sure that we're one of their biggest clients, that we are, that they're paying a lot more attention to our projects. I mean, I think that we've been very fortunate under this governor that we've gotten a lot of capital dollars, but it is really frustrating to get $400 million allocated and we're only spending $280 million. That is not, what we should be doing. So the idea here is to really begin to spend a lot more money and be able to complete a lot more projects. There's enough to it.
The need is there.
Across the university. And then what we try to do, the chancellor made it very clear, we try to spread out sort of the attention across all campuses to make sure that we are giving across all the campuses as much attention as possible on the most critical sort of systems. And then lastly, Mohammed now has the ability to know what systems are going to have problems. So we're able to address them a lot more intentional and a lot earlier. So we know that a boiler and college, I'm not going to pick a college Y, is going to go down in a couple of years. So we know now we go to the chancellor and look, we need to put money into this boiler because it's going to go down, so avoid some of the newspaper articles and the challenges that we sort of been navigating. But kudos to Mohammed and his team. They've been really doing a lot of great work. But it's a much different way of approaching this.
No, okay.
No, go ahead.
One, thank you. This is, sense is a definite advancement and approach than we have used in the past, especially in areas of scoping and in terms of how to get projects done. So thank you, and thank you for your presentation. But I do have a couple of questions. One, when you were talking about rebalancing the portfolio, would it be helpful to show the committee at one point the change orders that would impact, is it a significant percentage of the projects, number one, and number two, that we're seeing that the projects hopefully will go faster, right? But to maybe also give, this was a lot to go through, so, but maybe at a time we can also see what the impact of a schedule is, given the fact that the change in the dynamic of scoping too. So it'd be the change orders, if that is impacting greatly on the project, seeing that the work is now being more inclined to give to consulting firms, knowing that you're looking at a 50% review, and maybe there's a lot more required after a design review at 50%. That on the 60, if you don't mind me asking a few more questions.
Sure.
Okay, I'll try to be quick. On 63 Madison, the leasehold there, are we doing the renovation of it, or is it the landlord?
The landlord is.
Okay. And,
But we are having some challenges with the landlord.
yeah. And knowing the importance and the significance of these projects and the impact on MWBEs and SDVOBs, and trying to get both the projects underway, is there a proper utilization review and utilization being done?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's part of our process actually, is we do ask the vendors when we submit their bids to provide a detailed utilization plan. And the detailed utilization plan is very transparent, that include that's me as a contractor, and that's my utilization, those are my subs. And then it's added at the end, and you see in the total plan what the plan is. So that's at the bid stage. Then that will be reviewed during the progress, with payment by payment by payment, to review that actually the vendor is meeting the utilization plan as expected.
And I'm going to assume that if under certain circumstances, the vendor, as you said, are not complying or not able to meet the utilization, there are processes in place
So,
that,
I'll
right?
give you a perfect example. We had the Baruch Child Center it's a project that, and you can fill in the blanks on that one, that is extremely important to Baruch and to the community, and our head of student affairs has been putting a lot of pressure on us to get that project done, because it's important, right? But that project is an example where the contractor wasn't meeting the utilization rate. So we did certain things to get the project going, but the same token, we enforce that with the landlord, and you could maybe add more color to it, to assure that they met that utilization rate. They were not doing it, so we kind of forced the issue and made that happen. And it happens in many examples. Maybe you want to add some more color
Yeah,
to that one.
that's correct. As Hector said, it's the landlord, the landlord or the contractor in there, they were made a claim that we are unable to meet your 30% because, but we always, our teams, that MWBE is paramount and it's part of our strategic direction, and they just work with the vendor, and I would say, in a lack of better word, push back and say, well, this is what was the language in the contract, this is what you need to meet. We work.
And here's a set of vendors that are qualified. I think sometimes you just gotta, and that's an example, the project in us kept going, and we met our goal. So I don't think that's, they're not mutually exclusive.
That sounds good.
We know how to sort of keep that moving.
Thank you,
Sure.
Mohan, thank you.
Yeah, briefly, I can't even see my own notes. I thought this was great. It was a great overview, even though it was quickly and just highlighting. I just wanted to say, I love the scoping also. I mean, it's just, there's already so many layers to all of this, right? Once you go into the permitting and this, and if you have the slightest adjustment, everything takes so much longer. To have ourselves be part of that, long process is just, it doesn't make any sense, because it's just costing us more. The longer it takes, it's gonna cost, materials are gonna go up, overall costs are going up of whatever it is, and waiting for it to fit the solution. So I think the scoping is really great, so congratulations, I'm really excited about that. And then even the funding reallocation, that's great. Like even $4 million, that's covering the windows at Lehman, that's covering some of the new one-stop shops. Like, it may seem like a small piece comparatively, but $40 million can add up a few things, because I know the list is long, that just lifted up, so I think that's just great. And then the preventative, I think that is so important, like preventative. I mean, I think of our own company, whenever we see a machine that's having issues, we make sure to buy certain parts ahead of time, because if we don't have that part, we're waiting a few weeks, and you're down a week, your costs, like you're eating costs like nobody's business. So being preventative, I think is just so smart, so congratulations on that. The one concern I have is on state funding. If we're getting $400 million and we're not using it, you don't use it, you lose it. So we can't then be, advocating for that money again if we can't meet those things. But I'm glad also to hear the pushback on the MWBE piece. It's like, I worked for Con Ed like 15 years ago, and that was always, there aren't enough folks, and if we don't really put them down, and say like, well, this is what it is, then they're not gonna make it happen, and they can, so I'm glad for that. That's it.
Well, I mean, I think that a couple of things that Mohammed sort of pointed out. We are now doing a lot of work internally, so we could book more projects. Since Dasney told us they can only book X amount of projects for whatever the reasons are, and we now are also doing our own projects in order to be able to reach that number. And you're absolutely right. You know, the work that everyone on the team has to spend them. And the other part that we're working on is our completion rate. CUNY had a bad reputation on having great completion rate. We really have done a lot to get our numbers up, right? They're still not what I would like them to, but they're like night and day from where they were when we got here. So I think all those things are connected to meeting those goals.
Any more questions from anybody?
With the 885 projects completed in some distant future, where does that push the state of good repair number from 8% to, what will that be? Will it be on the way to 55%, or will that be the 55%?
When the entire 885 projects, which that will take longer, and by the way, as we move finishing those projects, other projects come, so we will never be like free of projects. But this particular set of projects, I would say they will go far beyond the 55%. I didn't really calculate it scientifically to give a number, but just an overall look at it, after all of that done, we will be way above the 55%.
Any other questions? Okay, with no more items on the agenda, I move to adjourn this meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh,
No, I just want to again thank
Oh.
the team that did to move the work so, so diligently. Not easy, but really it's tremendous advancement, so thank you again.
Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.